I'll turn 55 next month, and in 90 days I'm running the London Marathon, my first world major, and I'm genuinely scared. Not of the distance or the crowds. I'm terrified my Achilles tendon will betray me halfway through training and turn this bucket list race into an expensive DNF. Last fall, Achilles pain nearly derailed my training for the Marine Corps Marathon. Fortunately, I was able to push through and complete the race. But afterwards, I had to stop running for several months while I went through physical therapy. I couldn't run at all. Since then, I've been fine. Mostly. But here's the thing. At almost 55 years old, I need 2 to 3 days between hard efforts now. Anything less and I feel it. And that's on a normal Tuesday run in Florida. London isn't normal. Well over 1 million runners entered the lottery, and only 17,000 of them were selected. The fact that I was one of those is a miracle. Registration alone costs over $300. Then there's the transatlantic airfare, the hotel rooms, and of course my wife is coming. And I'm in the middle of a 24-week training cycle. It's a huge investment of time and money. And if this Achilles tendon flares up at mile 18, or worse, right before race day, all of that could be gone. But honestly, it's not just about the money. It's about something deeper that I think every midlife runner deals with. And to be honest, the domino effect keeps me up at night. If my Achilles goes during training, I won't finish the cycle. Or worse, I won't be able to run London. And I'm not willing to risk that. Sure, I could defer a year, but I'd have to pay the entry fee again. And worse, I'd be heartbroken. I got selected for the London Marathon in June of 25, and not running it until April of 27 would be torture. And perhaps worse than the lost time and money is telling everyone who knows I'm doing this, my wife, the athletes I'm coaching, you watching this video, that I didn't make it to the starting line. That embarrassment is almost heavier than the physical pain. And this fear hits so much harder after 40. When you're 20, you can ignore warning signs, push through soreness, miss a rest day, and your body might bounce back and let you get away with it. But in your 40s and 50s, ignoring early pain doesn't make you tough. It makes you injured. Recovery isn't optional anymore. It's not something I should do. It's what my body requires to keep functioning. So the fear isn't just, will it hurt during a run? The fear is, will my body cooperate long enough to get me to that starting line in London? And if you're training for a big race right now, especially if you're over 40, I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe it's not your Achilles. Maybe it's your knee, your hip, plantar fasciitis, your IT band. But you're managing something. And there's this low-level anxiety running underneath every training run. Is today the day it all falls apart? So today, I'm walking you through my actual injury management strategy for London. Not generic runner advice. The specific protocol I'm using to protect this Achilles while training for the biggest race of my life. These are the 4 specific adjustments I made to this training cycle to keep my Achilles alive and to get me to the finish line of the London Marathon injury-free. I want to be clear, these aren't things I found in some blog post. These came directly from my physical therapy experience last fall and from listening to what my 54-year-old body is telling me it needs. Now let's go through them. My first adjustment, I extended this training cycle to 24 weeks. My previous 6 marathons, 16 to 18 week training cycles. And that's the standard. If you Google marathon training plan right now, you'll discover most, if not all of them, are 16 to 18 weeks. But I've learned the hard way. At 54, my body doesn't adapt on a 20-year-old's timeline. Those shorter cycles work great when you're younger because your body can handle aggressive progressions. You might get away with adding 2 or 3 miles to your long run in 1 week and still have your connective tissue keep up. But after 40, your muscles might be able to handle that jump. Your cardiovascular system might be fine, but your tendons, your ligaments, your fascia, those tissues adapt slower than muscle does. And that's where overuse injuries come from. You're asking your Achilles tendon to handle loads it hasn't had time to adapt to yet. So by extending to 24 weeks, I gave myself 6 extra weeks to build my long runs more gradually. Instead of increasing by a mile or 2 every single week, I can increase by 1 mile, sometimes less, and repeat that distance for a couple of weeks before bumping up again. My Achilles gets time to adapt to each new load before I ask it to do more. Slower progression for sure, but sustainable progression. The second adjustment, weekly body weight strength training for my core and lower body. Now, I'm not talking about going to the gym and deadlifting 200 pounds. I'm not trying to build muscle mass. I'm building strength, and there's a difference. When you're running 30, 40, 50 miles a week, your form starts to break down when you get tired. Your hips drop, your knees cave in slightly, your ankles don't stabilize as well, and all of that puts extra stress on your Achilles. But if the muscles around it are strong, your calves, your glutes, your hip stabilizers, your core, they pick up the slack. They keep your form intact when you're fatigued. So once a week, I do a 30 to 40 minute body weight strength routine. Exercises like calf raises, glute bridges, lunges, planks, squats, clamshells. Nothing fancy, no heavy weights, just consistent functional strength work that supports my running form. And I stick to body weight only because the goal isn't to make my legs sore. The goal is to make them resilient. And if I'm lifting heavy and my legs are trashed for 3 days, that's interfering with my running. Body weight keeps me strong without adding injury risk. My third adjustment, and this is the one that's saving my Achilles right now, increased recovery time between hard efforts. I have 2 big demands on my body every week, my speed session and my long run. Those are the workouts that actually stress my Achilles. Those are the ones that require adaptation. And you need to remember, adaptation happens during recovery, not during the workout itself. When I do a tempo run or a long run, I'm creating tiny micro tears in my tissues. That's normal. That's how you get stronger. But those tissues need 48 to 72 hours to repair and adapt before I ask them to do another hard effort. If I don't give them that time, I'm just accumulating damage faster than my body can repair it. And eventually, like last fall, something breaks. So now I'm spreading out my hard efforts with easy-paced runs and rest days in between. I'm avoiding back-to-back hard days at all costs. No, I'm feeling good, so I'll just push the pace today. Because at 54, feeling good doesn't mean I'm recovered. It just means I haven't broken yet. The fourth adjustment, I'm measuring all my runs by time on my feet rather than miles. This one's subtle, but it's been a game changer for my mental approach. When you train by mileage, there's always this temptation to push just a little further. The plan says 8 miles, but I'm feeling good. I can run 1 more mile. Or worse, the plan says 8 miles, but these first 6 have been brutal. Oh well, better keep running anyway. Or I'm supposed to hit 40 miles this week, so even though I'm worn down, I need to squeeze in that extra run. And what happens? You're constantly negotiating with yourself, constantly pushing your body's limits for the sake of hitting a number. But I know how much time my body can handle working each day and each week, and I'm not going to exceed that for the sake of an extra mile or 2. So if my training plan says long run 90 minutes, I run for 90 minutes. I don't care if that's 7 miles or 9 miles. When the timer hits 90 minutes, I'm done. Same with my weekly volume. If my body can handle 6 hours of running this week, I stop at 6 hours, even if that's only 30 miles instead of 35. The truth is, my Achilles doesn't care how many miles I ran. It cares how much stress I put on it. And time on feet is a better measure of stress than arbitrary mileage targets. I'm not being lazy or cutting corners. I'm being strategic. I'm prioritizing the finish line in London over ego-driven mileage goals during training. And so far, it's working. So those are the 4 adjustments: longer training cycle, weekly strength work, more recovery time, and time-based training instead of mileage. Now, are these the right adjustments for everyone? No. These are the adjustments my body needed based on my PT's guidance and my own trial and error. But here's what I want you to take away from this. This isn't about my Achilles. This is about accepting that you can still do hard things. You can still accomplish big running goals after 40, as long as you have a strategy built around your current real-life circumstances. Not the circumstances you had 10 years ago, not the runner you used to be, the runner you are now. And I learned this lesson the hard way last fall. At the beginning of my training cycle for the Marine Corps Marathon, I had an aggressive time goal. I was chasing a PR. I wanted to prove I was still getting faster. But when my Achilles flared up, I had a choice to make. I could keep pushing toward that time goal and risk a serious injury and maybe cost me the race altogether, or I could adjust. So I adjusted. I backed off the intensity, I added more recovery, I accepted that my time goal was out of reach. And to be honest, that was hard. Letting go of that number felt like admitting defeat. But then something shifted. I changed my goal from time-based to experience-based. My new goal became enjoy every mile of this race. Treat it as a celebration of a successful training cycle in the face of adversity. And when I crossed the finish line of that Marine Corps marathon, I loved every second of it. Not because I was fast, but because I was smart. I got to the starting line healthy. I ran with gratitude instead of desperation. And I finished strong. That race taught me more about being a marathoner than any PR ever could. So here's what I want to tell you. And this is the permission I wish someone had given me years ago. It's okay to run your race. It's okay to train according to what your body needs right now, not what some training plan says, not what you were capable of 5 years ago, not what faster runners in your running club are doing. You don't need to measure yourself against anyone else's expectations, and you don't need to measure yourself against your own past performance. Truthfully, I'm a better marathoner now than I was 5 years ago. Not faster, better. I'm smarter about pacing. I'm more strategic about recovery. I understand how to read my body's warning signs. I know how to adapt when things don't go according to plan. Those 4 adjustments I just walked you through, 10 years ago, I would have called those compromises. I would have thought they made me a weaker runner. But they don't make me weaker. They make me strategic. And strategy is what gets you to finish lines after 40. And that's why London matters so much to me. Running a world major is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, especially for a runner like me. I'm never going to qualify for Boston. I'm never going to be fast enough to earn an entry through time standards. My only hope is the lottery. The fact that I got into London is a miracle. And I'm not going to blow my chance at running this race by being reckless with my Achilles during training. Because if I complete London healthy, I'm going to keep entering every world major lottery for the next 20 years. Chicago, New York, Tokyo, Berlin. And if I'm lucky enough, if the lottery gods smile on me a few more times, I'll do a fundraiser to run Boston and complete all 6 original world majors. That's a goal I'll enjoy working toward between ages 55 and 75. But it all starts with getting to London healthy. And getting to London healthy starts with respecting what my 54-year-old body needs today. Because the runner I am today, the one who needs 24-week training cycles and 48-hour recovery windows, that runner is strategic enough to finish marathons strong and injury-free. And that's the runner I'm choosing to be. All right, now I want to hear from you. If you're training for a race right now, I want to know, what's your ghost injury? Is it your Achilles like me? Your knee? Your hip flexor? Drop it in the comments. Tell me what you're managing and how it's affecting your training. Because I guarantee someone else reading the comments needs to hear they're not alone. And honestly, I want to know I'm not the only one dealing with this stuff. So hit me in the comments. What's your ghost injury and what's the race you're protecting it for? And look, if you've got a race coming up and you're realizing you need a strategy to get to the starting line healthy, not just some generic training plan, that's literally what I do. As a certified running coach, I help recreational runners over 40 build training strategies to get them to the finish line injury-free. If your goal is to finish strong and avoid injury, let's talk. Click the link in the description below to schedule a video chat with me. No pressure, just an option if personalized guidance sounds helpful. I'm Brian. This is Midlife Marathoner, and I'll see you in the next video.